and in the way it was meant to be. Island Star simply do it better. New or used, go to the people you can trust, Knowles Island Star Caravans. With Knowles, you're protected by a nationwide guarantee and better after-sales service. Knowles Island Star simply do caravanning better.
Knowles Caravans, Knowles Caravans, Knowles Caravans, Knowles Caravans.
Online, on DAB Digital Radio and on 1395 AM. Talking Adelaide. This is Adelaide's FIVEAA.
Partly cloudy this afternoon. Right now it's 21 degrees. With the 3 o'clock news, I'm Mel Usher. The hunt is continuing for a man behind an assault at Woodville Park this morning who then stole a truck and headed north. The offender allegedly hit a person in the head with a weapon at a Port Road premises just before 11. He jumped in a parked truck, which was later found at Elizabeth Downs. Police say it was not a random attack. Darren Hinch has announced the end of his Justice Party, describing it as one of the saddest moments of his life. Christy Sullivan reports from Melbourne.
In a Facebook post, founder Darren Hinch says the party has reached the end of its political life. His Justice Party was launched in September 2015 and had a tough-on-crime approach, focusing on sentencing, bail and parole reforms and a public register of sex offenders. The party won 3 seats in the Victorian Upper House, while Mr Hinch was elected to the Federal Senate in 2016. He says with the party no longer in Parliament, the time is right to wrap it up.
I'm being practical, I'm being realistic, and if you're out of money and you're out of steam, you're out of time.
And as for any talk of retirement...
No, retirement is not in my repertoire.
He's vowed to continue his campaigning work, asking his supporters to maintain the rage.
The federal government says it won't let Australia Post fail as the organisation forecasts major financial losses. A review has been launched looking at ways to modernise our postal service. It could include cutting back on letter deliveries to focus on the booming parcel business. Communications Minister Michelle Rowland says it's important the organisation serves the needs of Australians.
We have seen what happens around the world to state-sponsored postal services when they fail. They fail their consumers and they fail their economies. We will not let this happen to Australia Post.
Social media platform TikTok is changing the way children can use the app. Lara Vella has more.
These changes might be wishful thinking, but they will be welcomed by parents who struggle to get their kids to have a break from TikTok, with the social media app now sending users aged under 18 alerts letting them know they've spent an hour scrolling. This will be the default setting on the phone. However, you can disable it, with kids then encouraged to set daily time limits for their use. The changes will come into effect in the next few weeks and follows both the United States and Canada banning the app on government-issued phones due to espionage concerns.
The Prime Minister and Treasurer are celebrating a shared birthday today. Anthony Albanese is marking his 60th with his partner and son, while Jim Chalmers is heading to Brisbane to celebrate his 45th birthday with his family. Now turning to FIVEAA sport, not a great start for SA in the opening day of their Shield clash against Queensland at the Gabba. The Redbacks are currently 6 for 178, Jake Lehman topping the run sheet with 65. Well, play is underway on day 2 of the third test between Australia and India in indoor. Australia 4 for 165, leading India by 56 runs. Footy in Port Adelaide will be without Travis Boak and Junior Rioli for tonight's practice match against Fremantle in WA. The Crows are in action tomorrow night against West Coast. Assistant coach James Riley says they'll name a squad of 26 tonight.
Obviously Tex will come back, didn't play against Fremantle, so we're keen to get Tex back in the team. Josh Worrell will unfortunately miss the hamstring, and Wayne Miller is not going to play for personal reasons as well.
And veteran goalkeeper Danny Vukovic has announced his retirement from international soccer. Now checking FIVEAA traffic.
At Mitchell Park, got a crash, Marion Road near Quick Road. Crowfoot's West got a breakdown there. It's on the freeway up track near Mearsdales Bridge. Speeds out to 60. Glandore, urgent electrical work. Zanzac Highway near South Road. Middle lane closed as you're heading outbound. And Morpeth Vale, twisted traffic light. Panelatinga Road near Baines Road. Cameras on the drive home. Anglevale Road, Virginia. And Jenkins Street at Cowardilla. Did you know it took 21 one attempt to create Guzmati Gomez perfectly crunchy corn chips, which are made fresh in store every day. Look up hashtag GYG Did You Know for more. Adelaide's most accurate traffic guard 5AA.
Now the 5AA forecast.
Smoke alarm checks, PowerPoint repairs and more. Ken Hall Electricians. Give Ken a call.
Partly cloudy this afternoon, sunny and 27 tomorrow, sunny and 28 on Saturday, 29 on Sunday before an evening shower. Right now it's 21 degrees. Now let's hear what's happening on 9 News tonight.
9 exclusive. See the moment paramedics rushed to treat a man bashed with a gun at a Western Suburbs business. Then the dramatic police response. Australia Post overhaul, why paper letters may be on the way out. How the TikTok app is giving power to parents. And 100,000 members and a premiership. The Crows lay out a grand 5-year plan. I'm Kate Collins. See the full story on 9 News happening now.
Think of the deadliest animal in the world. It doesn't have razor-sharp claws. It doesn't spit venom. It doesn't swim under unsuspecting surfers accompanied by ominous theme music. The only sound it makes is this. With floodwaters still stagnant and unusual weather, South Australians are experiencing a mozzie and fly invasion. Fight back with EcoMist, a natural pest control dispenser that is also safe around your family. Wipe out flies and mozzies naturally with EcoMist. Order today at ecomist.com.au.
Hearing Australia's Hearing the Nation tour is visiting 1,000 locations during March, delivering free hearing checks for adults. Search Hearing the Nation for more.
Hearing Australia.
Conditions apply under the Australian Government Hearing Services Program.
Hi, I'm Kate Stock from Good 360 Australia. At Good 360, we help people and the planet by creating a circle of good, connecting businesses with new, unsold goods to people in need, so nothing goes to waste and everyone benefits. If you're a business willing to donate goods or would like to make a financial donation, get in touch. Or if you're a charity or disadvantaged school, register via our website to order the goods you need at good360.org.au.
We love our vast, rugged country, but out here is no place to break down. For 50 years, the team at Terrain Tamer have been engineering, testing and manufacturing off-road four-wheel drive parts. Over this time, we've learnt what is reliable and how we can strengthen a vehicle to ensure a safe journey. With Australia's largest range of four-wheel drive parts, we're the four-wheel drive specialists. So you can be sure no matter where you are in Australia, the Terrain Tamer team will be there to help you get home. With Terrain Tamer, you're in safe hands.
Jade Robran, talking Adelaide on 1395 5AA.
Welcome back. It is 8 minutes past 3 o'clock and it's time for The Money Show. We're talking all things finances with Lachlan Harvey and Craig Kirkwood from Goldsborough Financial Services. Gentlemen, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Jade. Great to be here.
On the topic today, we're going to be talking about super. Treasurer Jim Chalmers, he made some big announcements during the week to super changes. Has your phone been ringing off the hook with people concerned about those changes or not really?
Look, these changes are pretty targeted, and they're targeted right at the top end of town, which I don't know how... I'm interested to hear from your listeners how important this is or whether people care. But I think we can really point to a very long history of the government making changes to superannuation, and I think that's the point of frustration for a lot of people.
Correct.
Particularly super funds that have to bend over backwards to comply with the new rules. And a point worth making is that even though these changes, and we'll talk a little bit about what they are, but these changes are targeted for people with account balances more than $3 million.
Which is not many of us.
This is the top end of town. But the cost burden of those regulatory changes and monitoring and managing them, everyone has to wear, right? So it's not just the top end. So we'll talk a little bit more about that, perhaps.
I think the issue here with it is that, sure, I don't care that those changes have been made because I'm never going to have $3 million in my super fund. But the fact of the matter is that they are making these changes and that they're quite happy to do that pretty fast as well. And then you start questioning whether super is the right place to put your money. I think that's the questions people start asking.
It is the concern that people have is that, okay, if I put my money now and I've got, let's say, 30 years until I I'm likely to be able to get access to it. What's the system going to look like at that point? And how confident can I be that I'm going to be able to get my own money out and that it's the right decision when I look back? Did I make a good decision or a bad decision?
Exactly right. Well, talk to us about the changes.
So what the government has proposed at this point, now it is just proposals, we need to see the details as they come out, but they have been drip-fed over the last couple of days, and what it is, if you have a balance over $3 million, the proposal is that they will tax the earnings on that at a higher rate, so it'll be taxed at 30% as opposed to the current rate of 15%. But some of the details that came out yesterday sort of contradicted a little bit, because we are already taxed in accumulation at 15%, and this tax is a new tax. So what they're proposing is if your balance is $3 million, and let's say it goes to $4 million, they will then tax that proportionately. And in that calculation, I'm not going to do it exactly because it's on radio for the maths, but they would pay $75,000.
So you've made $1 million out of your superannuation in a year, which, just for example, you go from $3 million to $4 million, and you've got to pay tax on that $1 million worth of earnings, in theory.
$1 million of earnings, and it's proportionate, so it's 25% of the balance above $3 million. So it works out at $75,000. But
if I'm earning $1 million, I don't care that I'm paying $75,000.
The interesting thing, the way they've worked it out, in their example, is it's not, you don't trigger a gain. So if you've got a property worth $3 million and the value goes up to $4 million, you will get taxed on that, regardless of whether you've sold something or not. So your rental income, your yield on your commercial property might be exactly the same, but you've now got to come up with this extra tax for this unrealised profit. And that's the real thing that doesn't sort of make sense, because there's no other taxation system that taxes on unrealised profits. So, and like I said, we're yet to see how that all plays out, but that does seem to be contradictory to how the super system's taxed at the moment.
So a couple of key points there is that it is only likely, this new rule, if introduced, is only likely to affect account balances more than $3 million. Okay. So that's the first thing. But for me, the kicker here is that $3 million sounds like a lot right now, but there's no proposal to index that threshold. So $3 million is a lot now, but if you're, let's say you're age 30 and you're thinking about retiring at age 65, the $3 million threshold will be worth about $1 million when you turn 65.
Right.
So there's a big difference between taxing super funds at the $3 million threshold versus taxing them at $1 million.
What kind of money are we talking here? If just say you're 30, how much are you earning to then retire at 65 to have $3 million in your bank account, in your superannuation?
That's a great question, and it's one that I actually did an example of today. So if you have a 30-year-old, the average balance for a 30 to 35-year-old is $50,000 to $80,000. So I used $50,000. I gave them an income of $80,000 and a growth rate. They're normally in a growth fund of 8%. And over that period, so from 30 to 65, their balance increases to, and if they put in 10% of their income, as a salary sacrifice contribution, so that's a fairly standard scenario, their balance would be $3.4 million in future money, so $1.4 million in today's money, so it breaches that cap. So, it is going to affect, I think they're estimating 80,000 people today, but in the future that number will just keep growing, and this is an average example, and it will capture that person.
See, that is very interesting, because when you hear 3 million, I'm thinking doctors, lawyers, mega wealthy people. But in actual fact, no, that could hit everyday Australians that are just choosing to be extremely smart early on with their money.
Yeah, it's really hard to get $3 million into superannuation now, because there's real restrictions on how much you can get in at any given time. And superannuation is still a tax-friendly environment. Let's not forget that. So most people that plan really well try to build their superannuation up to the maximum amount possible, because it does get taxed at a lower rate generally than what most people get taxed at throughout their working lives. So superannuation taxes at 15% versus your personal marginal tax rate, which for most people is going to be sort of above 30% in total. It's a preferential sort of place to invest.
Let's talk to Josephine, who's called in. Hello, Josephine.
Good afternoon, Jeet. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. So I do have a question. I don't know whether it sort of relates. It's certainly nowhere near 3 million, unfortunately.
That's quite all right.
I did ask the tax office this question, and they couldn't answer, so I wondered whether you could. I recently took out about $70,000, which was my balance of my superannuation fund. I'm preservation age, but not pension age.
Okay.
So I asked them, when I take the money out, when I do my tax return this year, will that sort of 70,000 I got form part of my income due, tax to be paid on it? Now, they couldn't answer me that question. They said, you'll have to do your return, and once you do your return, we'll be able to tell you whether you actually have to pay, I don't know, 15, 17, 20%, whatever it may be, tax liability. And I just found it strange that they couldn't answer that question. Do you think that's something that you might know?
I'll give it a go, and I might be able to answer it in a general sense, as in not give you specific advice, but provide the information that will help you draw your own conclusion. So for people over the age of 60, superannuation is available to be withdrawn tax-free. So you've got to meet a condition of release in order to be able to get the money out of super. So that's got its own superannuation rules. But from a tax point of view, if you've withdrawn your super and you're over the age of 60, it's tax-free. Does that sound like you, Josephine?
Well, unfortunately not. I'm 59, not 60.
Okay, all right. So for people aged 59, it works a little bit differently. So you've got a lifetime limit, and that's an amount that you can withdraw out of superannuation before you start paying tax. And that lifetime limit is over $200,000. So it doesn't sound like you've exceeded that limit. So it's quite likely that you'll be within that lifetime limit. So therefore, that superannuation withdrawal wouldn't have any tax implications.
Good news.
And I think, Josephine, sorry, I'm pretty sure I had a client in this situation and they had to include it in their tax return, but you put it in a special part where it isn't assessable income, if that helps. But it may be better to go through an accountant for this year for your tax return.
And also, Josephine, when you withdrew that money, the superannuation fund should have provided you with a tax summary, and that's a summary of what you've withdrawn and the different tax components, and you use that summary, or potentially a tax agent will use that summary for you to plug the numbers into your tax return to make sure that you're paying just the right amount of tax, which in your case I think will be nil.
That is fantastic news. I hope that's what comes to pass. Thank you so much.
Good luck. Thanks.
Thank you for calling in. And let's go to Birkenhead now and have a chat with Steve. Steve, you are chatting with Lachlan and Craig. Welcome.
Thanks, Jade, Lachlan and Craig. Just two quick questions, please. I retired at 65 and a bit early last year and drew an income stream. And I couldn't handle not working, so I went back to work and filled in the tax form with no tax, thinking that the threshold was 22,000. But only last week someone said, no, it's less than that. It's 18,000 for the tax threshold. Would you be able to confirm that for me, please?
Yeah, hi, Steve. I'll have to estimate the numbers roughly. Are you single?
Yes.
Yep. So with the senior and pensioner tax offset, you can earn up a taxable income up to around about $32,000, and the taxable income for you will be part of the age pension. So part of that's taxable, and Centrelink will provide you with a tax summary for that one. And then your taxable income. So the tax-free threshold is $18,200, but with the senior and pensioner tax offset, that takes it, for your position, up to around about $32,000 that you can earn tax-free.
Right. And just on that, I was born in September 56. What age am I eligible for the pension? I'm not sure. I'm not on the pension at the moment, so when am I eligible for a pension?
1956, crunching the numbers in my head. Well, the pension age at the moment for people turning age 66 and a half is age 66 and a half, and then it creeps up to age 67, where it's scheduled to sort of the increases in pension age that we've been having over the last decade or so will plateau out. So for most people, if they're not yet pension age, it's going to be age 66 and a half or age 67.
Right, gotcha. So, yes, I'll turn that in this month, so I think I better get on it sooner.
Yeah, well, you can apply up to 13 weeks prior, so that might be worthwhile giving it a go now.
Okay. Well, thanks very much for your help.
It'll take you that long to navigate the system.
I'm sure it will.
13 weeks. Get onto it early. Don't delay. Yes, you don't want to sort of miss out because you've been slow in applying or slow in trying to work out whether you should apply. Get onto it now. Work out whether you qualify under the age grounds, and then have a think about your financial position and make sure you'll get paid some pension and go for it. You can apply online through MyGov, or alternatively you can do paper-based applications through a Centrelink office.
Right. Thank you very much for your help.
No problems. Thank you, Steve, for calling in. And anyone listening that would like to ask a question to either Lachlan or Craig from Goldsboro Financial Services about your personal situation, call in 8223 0000.
Harvey Norman, your premium Optus dealer. Get the new Samsung Galaxy S23 128 gigs 5G for $0 upfront when you connect to a new Optus $69 per month SIM-only plan for 24 months. Ends March 6. Minimum cost $1,656. Not available with other offers. In-store only. Cancellation fees, terms and conditions apply. Harvey Norman, your premium Optus dealer.
At Specsavers, we understand how important it is to hear well. We also understand that right now, the last thing you need is to pay more than you should for hearing aids. That's why this Hearing Awareness Week, we're making some noise. Because you deserve to know what you'll pay straight away with upfront prices, and our everyday low prices on latest tech hearing aids doesn't mean you compromise on quality or expert care. So for hearing care for all, not the few, should have gone to Specsavers.
Go on, Nana, do it. No. Floor it.
Get back to doing what you love with a mobility aid from Respirico Scooter World. Whether it's the best seat in the house or a little something to help you balance, Respirico Scooter World can help make your world more accessible. Visit Respirico Scooter World or request a mobile visit for all your sleep, respiratory and mobility needs. Search Respirico Scooter World today.
Need it fixed? Fitted? Need it flushed, replaced, built, tiled, cleaned? Give Ken a call. Ken Hall Plumbers, your local plumber since 1983. For plumbing, gas fitting, roofing and hot water, give Ken a call. 8364 5855.
Hurry! Today is your last chance to buy your People's Choice Community Lottery tickets, where you have the chance to win a brand new Toyota Kluger Hybrid. Jump online and get your $2 tickets in the People's Choice Community Lottery today. T's and C's apply. SA Lottery Licence Number M14289.
At Coles, we're helping your budget go further with big savings on big brands. Save $9 on Nescafe Blend 43 coffee 500 gram tin, now $17. That's value the Australian way at Coles. Offer ends Tuesday.
When it comes to wiping out flies and mozzies, we're prepared to go nuclear. But what about the fallout on your family? EcoMist is a natural insect killer. It uses natural pyrethrins to be an effective and ecological insect control product. EcoMist dispensers can be programmed to your needs with 24-hour protection for your home, your cafe or your office. Wipe out flies and mozzies and stay safe around your family. Order yours today at ecomist.com.au.
Ranella Mazda 2022 plate clearance is on now. Incredible deals across the entire range and vehicles in stock ready for immediate delivery. Get in quick and don't miss the 2022 plate clearance. Only at Ranella Mazda.
LBD 322 736.
$13.95, Adelaide's 5AA. This is Jade Robran.
Welcome back to The Money Show. We're talking with Craig Kirkwood and Lachlan Harvey from Goldsboro Financial Services, and we've just got an update for Steve, if you're listening.
Oh, Steve was, I think, born in 1956, which means that everyone born in 1956, the pension age for that age bracket is 66 and a half.
Mm-hmm.
Anyone born on or after the 1st of January, 57, is age 67, pension age.
Okay, so he's all good to go.
He's all good.
Excellent. There you go. Update for Steve. And we've got Michael on the line. Hello, Michael.
Hi, Jade. How are you?
Good, buddy.
Yeah, listen, I'm ringing up on behalf of my wife. She was born June 1958. Does she got to wait a couple more years yet, or for the age pension?
I think for her she'll be age 67 for that, Michael, to qualify for age pension.
Yeah, on her 67th birthday, Michael.
So she can apply about she can apply leading up to that, though, can't she?
Yep, so same as with Steve before, she can apply 13 weeks prior to turning 67 and get it all lined up so the pension payment can start right on her 67th birthday.
What about yourself, Michael? Are you younger, older? Do you turn pension age before?
I was born in May 55. I'm already on the pension.
Aha, okay.
Yeah, I think I got it when I turned 66 and a half.
Yeah, so everyone turns pension age at a different age, and it was for both men and women for some time age 65. Mm-hmm. Then they gradually have been moving it up to age 67. Even prior to that, for women it was age 60, and that goes back a little way. So there's been a number of changes over the years, and there's no proposed change to make it any different to age 67, but there's plenty of speculation that it may go up as high as age 70.
No.
It's
too long.
It's not legislated, but I think there'd be a lot of pushback for that, and particularly where you've got people that might be working in manual jobs that, you know...
You're stuffed by then. Your back's done.
Age 70 is really a stretch.
Yeah.
Does the... you got about 130,000 in super as well now. In a couple of years, that'll probably jump up to about 145,000. Does that affect her age pension?
That'll count as an asset. So if it sits in a super at the moment, but they do have an asset test. So as a couple, again, I'm going just a rough guide here, but I think it's about $440,000 that between the two of you can have before your age pension starts to reduce. So potentially, depending on what the rest of your assets are, you might be able to keep the same level of pension. And when she does turn 67, or even before, if it was a benefit to her, she can withdraw the money out or start what's called an allocated pension.
Yeah, well, I'm working part-time at the moment, and I can... and the way the work bonus goes at the moment is I've been getting because we're separated, right? And I've been getting the full pension because the work bonus has gone up.
That seems reasonable. So you've brought in a couple of other issues there. You've got the work bonus, which is an amount that people can earn that doesn't count towards the age pension income test, and that's good that you've mentioned that because there's plenty of people that are unaware that they can actually work and also get age pension as well. And you've also brought up a potential issue, and that is that for married couples that are separated, that can be treated differently for a whole bunch of different reasons, including those people that are separated due to ill health. And that captures a whole group in the community where someone might be in care and the other person's living at home. So that's opened up a few topics that maybe we can cover off at a different time.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we can definitely go there. Thank you, Michael. We do have to move on. We've got one last caller, Peter in Windsor Gardens, who has called in. Hello, Peter.
Hi, Joe. Hi, Craig. Lachlan, how you going?
Great.
Good, thanks.
Good. Hey, just a quick question. I've just turned 59, and I had a couple of investment properties that I decided to liquidate. Now, I'm looking at the potential of putting some money into super because I've never really sort of focused on it. Now, I can put a lump sum of 300K. Is that correct? One go?
Yeah, so the general rules about putting money into super, 110 per year, and they call that a non-concessional contribution. But in other words, that's money straight out of your bank account into your super fund. It's 110 per year, but then they've got this other rule that allows you to bring forward the next 2 years of contributions and bring it up to a $330,000 once-off contribution. And the other type of contributions is, they call it concessional, but that just means contributions that you are claiming a tax deduction for. And the limit on that one's about $27,500. And for people that are selling investment properties, that's often the one that they're looking at quite closely, because often when you're selling investment properties, there's capital gains, and people are looking to minimise their tax and get these big tax deductions, and it's the concessional contributions that may help you do that.
Yeah, well, I'll need to speak to my accountant and so forth, but it's just trying to work out now best way, because obviously I've paid significant capital gains, and try and work out now the best way to to go about
Yep.
putting some money into super?
So you want to try and reduce the tax first, go with the pre-tax, the concessional, and you can do this thing called a unused carry forward, and your accountant can have a chat about that one, and then you'd target your after-tax, the non-concessional contributions.
Plenty of juicy financial planning stuff in there, Peter. Not something that you want to do lightly. I think it's worthwhile talking to your accountant and also a financial planner on the superannuation side just to get the optimum strategy for you.
Thank you, Peter. Okay, super duper quick. My self-managed super fund has 2 members, wife and I. How does the $3 million limit work for 2?
Per member, not the combined amount. So it's per member. So even when people with a self-managed super fund, they often think of the self-managed super fund being a single account because it's usually invested in that way. But if you look into your self-managed super fund reports, it does break it up between the individual member accounts, how much is in each, and that, I think, is what will determine the $3 million limit should it proceed. Because, again, just going back to that point, it is only proposed.
Perfect. Guys, thank you so much. Some really good questions that came through. And if you'd like to contact the guys at Goldsboro Financial Services, you can do so. Jump online, goldsboro.com.au, or give the office a call, 8378 4000. Have a great afternoon. Thanks for coming in.
Thanks so much, Jade.
This is Adelaide's FIVEAA.
Good afternoon, I'm Mel Usher. A man has been arrested at Elizabeth Downs following an alleged assault at a Woodville Park business this morning. The 40-year-old is facing a string of charges. The construction industry says rising interest rates are making it harder for people to build new homes. The number of dwellings being approved has dropped to its lowest level in a decade. Veterans are set to benefit from a $24 million package to help boost their employment prospects when they leave the forces. And in sport, the Redbacks are 6 for 190 at tea on the first day of their Shield clash against the Bulls at the Gabba. Ben Menenti is on 63, Harry Nielsen 17. Partly cloudy this afternoon, sunny and 27 tomorrow. Right now it's 22 degrees. We'll have more news at 4 and as it happens on 5AA.
You can't go past the IGA Big Deal Sale for great specials right across the store, like Omo Expert Laundry Liquid 2 litre or Powder 2 kilo selected varieties, $14.50 each, half price. Now at your local IGA. Offer ends March 7. Participating stores only. Excludes local grocer and Foodland.
I've been round the block a few times, so not a lot surprises me. But this concept really got me. Retirement rentals at Warner Close Retirement Living. Yep, you don't need to compromise your independence. Warner Close Retirement Living offers modern units in a supported environment just 40 minutes down the freeway. It's a great retirement lifestyle that offers the best of both worlds, support and freedom. Find out more at warnerclose.com.au.
Hi, I'm Kate Stock from Good360 Australia. At Good360, we help people and the planet by creating a circle of good, connecting businesses with new, unsold goods to people in need, so nothing goes to waste and everyone benefits. If you're a business willing to donate goods or would like to make a financial donation, get in touch. Or if you're a charity or disadvantaged school, register via our website to order the goods you need at good360.org.au.
No, it's a pleasure, so look around at your leisure.
Malcolm Blight here. The team at Knowles Island Star Caravans design and build caravans from decades of experience. They know because they go caravanning, and 75% of their customers are repeat or referred customers. As I've been saying for years, you'll love the way they do business. Knowles Island Star Caravans.
Knowles Caravans, Knowles Caravans, Knowles Caravans, Knowles Caravans.
Hi, Bronte Manuel from Toop and Toop Real Estate. It's easy for agents to look good in a hot market, just like we've had in Adelaide over the past couple of years, but a better test of their credentials is how they perform when selling conditions become more challenging. With a history spanning almost 40 years and a team of unrivalled experience, Toop and Toop have been through the peaks and troughs of the market and know what it takes to maximise your results in any selling conditions. Talk to one of our team or visit toop.com.au to find out more.
We love our vast, rugged country, but out here, there's no place to break down. For 50 years, the team at Terrain Tamer have been engineering, testing and manufacturing off-road four-wheel drive parts. Over this time, we've learnt what is reliable and how we can strengthen a vehicle to ensure a safe journey. With Australia's largest range of four-wheel drive parts, we're the four-wheel drive specialists. So you can be sure no matter where you are in Australia, the Terrain Tamer team will be there to help you get home. With Terrain Tamer, you're in safe hands.
Thinking of painting and don't know where to start?
We do, because we know paint at Rowey's.
So, visit Rowey's. And while you're there, join Rowey's Club to get 10% off everything.
We know paint at Rowey's.
Jade Robran on 1395, Adelaide's 5AA.
Welcome back to Afternoons. It's 25 minutes to 4 o'clock. Coming up at 4 o'clock is the sports show with Timmy G and Rowey. Rowey, good afternoon.
Yeah, good afternoon. Little sunrise you. How you doing? How you going? Good?
Can you see the toothpicks holding my eyes
no,
open?
you're right. You're a star. Port v FIVEAA tonight, 6:40 live on AA with Timmy G and Warren Gary Treadray. Look forward to that. Crows posted a $5.4 million profit. They're debt-free. And they've launched a 5-year strategic plan. On that plan, it is to have a new home
glory
and a winter flag. And I like it. It's quite modest. It's achievable. You can hold them to account. Speak to Tim Silvers about that. Cricket, we're going to go live to India. We are on top. I notice in here you don't have the cricket on. You got, what's this?
It's the news. It's all about the news
Sky
here.
News. Who watches
No, do you know
Sky
what?
News?
That TV I have to turn off because
Oh.
they've got the daytime movie on and it gets a bit raunchy
Yeah, no,
raunch, so I've got to
don't
flick
do
it
that.
off.
Yeah, keep that off. Gee, you got to concentrate, Jade Robin.
Exactly.
4 for 186 we are. We lead by 77. If we win that, it'll be outstanding because we've stunk in India. But we'll cross there. Big show. See you at 4.
See you later, Alligator. Thank you so much. Well, even if you're not into art, you would have heard of Andy Warhol. He was basically the guy who started the pop art movement. Now, think the Campbell soup, Coca-Cola bottles, Marilyn Monroe, the wooden replicas of the Brillo soap pad boxes. That is Warhol. And some exciting news. The first exhibition in Australia to explore Andy Warhol's career-long obsession with photography is coming to Adelaide. And my next guest, Henry Gillespie, is the Australian editor of Warhol's magazine Interview. He was there from 1985 to 1989 and, get this, was one of only 2 Australians to be invited to sit for Warhol's portrait. Lovely to meet you. Thank you so much for coming into the studio, Henry. How are you?
I'm very well, Jad. It's very nice to be here.
It's lovely to have you here. When did you arrive?
Yesterday.
Lovely. Okay, let's talk about sitting in front of the great man for a portrait. What was that like?
Oh, it was magical.
Yeah.
Just magical. I mean, it was very quick. It didn't take very long, but he was very professional. But you felt like you were on top of the world. And in a way, you were, you know. To be in his presence was quite a thing. He had an aura about him. And he was fun. He had a dry sense of humour, and he was a nice man. You know, he's a very nice man. He wasn't egotistical or anything. He just got on with his art. He loved his art. He lived for his art, and it was fun. It was great fun.
How did it come about?
Well, it's a bit of a long story, but I've always been an admirer of Andy Warhol, and a friend of mine, Anne Lewis, who was a Sydney collector and had Gallery A. She was on the International Council of the Museum of Modern Art, and she was often in New York. And she asked me to go to an opening of Warhol's portraits of the 70s at the Whitney Museum of American Art in New York in November 1979. So we were there, and she knew the director, Tom Armstrong, and she introduced me to Tom Armstrong, and we were chatting away, and Warhol was just a few feet away, and he said, you know, would you like to meet him? And of course, I'd love to meet him. And so he took me across and introduced me. This was Henry Gillespie from Australia, and Andy sort of drew back a bit and said, wow, he said, doesn't it take 30 days to fly to Australia? And I thought, that's the new one.
No, mate, 40.
And I said, Andy, 30 days would have you on the moon. And he chuckled. And he said straight away that he'd love to go to Australia. He'd been just about everywhere else, but he'd love to go. It was the time when the very successful tourism campaign of throwing another shrimp on the Barbie was being screened, and Paul Hogan, you know, the Crocodile Dundee. And Australia was just top of the pops. And so he was very interested in Australia and wanted to go there. and then he asked me to visit the studio, and which I did, and gradually a friendship sort of developed. But all the while he was interested in coming to Australia, and my co-subject, Lottie Smorgan and her husband Victor, they were keen to have him out to Australia as well.
Yeah.
So, and it was all starting to sort of come together. We had to get at least 5 portrait commissions, which wouldn't have been that hard, and an exhibition, and it would have happened in 1988, and very sadly he died in 1987.
Yeah.
So that was a missed opportunity, because it would have been a whole new series of works, and he would have loved Australia because it was his sort of country, very laid back and attractive people, friendly people, and beautiful landscape and the light. He would have loved it, just loved it.
It sounds like he had a real fascination with it. Do you feel like, and with your friendship and knowing him, that he could have spent a significant amount of time here and maybe called it home for a while?
Oh yes, I think so. Yes.
Wow, what a loss.
Yeah,
and of course he passed after gallbladder surgery. It didn't go so right. We lost an incredible mind and incredible talent.
Well, the surgery went well, but then the hospital administered a drug that he was allergic to, and he had a heart attack. So it was medical misadventure, or worse, really.
So where was the portrait painted?
In the factory,
right,
in New York.
Where is it?
Well, it's downstairs at the Art Gallery South Australia. I saw it this morning, and I'm hanging next to Lottie Smorgan, my old and dear friend, who's sadly no longer with us, but all her family have flown across from Sydney and Melbourne, and they're thrilled to see. They called her Bubba, their Bubba, hanging on the wall.
So you're the 2 Australians that he painted?
Yes, just 2.
What an honour.
It's a very exclusive club.
It most certainly is. And what does it look like? Is it bright and beautiful like he used to do?
He glamorised people.
Yeah.
That was his signature. But you know, the Lottie's been very glamorised. She's got the lips of Marilyn Monroe. You know, these lovely glamorous movie star lips.
Yeah.
And the women were coated with white cream, and when they were photographed, the skin was like cosmetic surgery. It took all the wrinkles away. She looks like a young girl, but with the men, and with me, he didn't have to do that, because I was about 33 at the time, and he said to me, Henry, it's important when you have your portrait painted to be young, because you know he'd see all these older people,
yeah,
and they don't look as good, of course. It's just the aging process.
Yeah, damn it. Talk to me about the actual time that he was painting. Would he put music on? Was it quick? Would he talk? Would he engage?
He engaged all the time, building up your ego. You know, it was all look left, right, chin up, chin down, and you know, you're so handsome. You're like Mel Gibson. You know, all to sort of boost up your ego and to produce the best result.
Yeah.
And he felt like $1 million.
Do you have a favourite piece of his?
Yes, I do.
What is it?
Oh, it's one of the ones on the top top left hand side. That's the one I like the most. But they're all together now. There's 4 panels, you see, and that's the one I like.
I was very fortunate. The exhibition came to Melbourne several years ago, and all the bubbles.
Oh yes.
Oh, and so I got to walk through all the bubbles. It was I was covering a story for it, so they let me go in and amongst it, and his vision for art was so far ahead of time, wasn't it?
He was way ahead of his time, and he knew that. And it's only sort of as time's passed that he's been truly recognised. Last year in May, in New York at Christie's, one of his sage blue Marilyns sold for $195 million US.
What?
The highest price for a 20th century work of art.
Wow.
So that put him way up there. Because for a long time he was dismissed by the critics and the old guard.
Well, they didn't think it was art, did they?
No, they said it was commercial. But I mean, Andy didn't disguise the fact that he was commercial. He used it to the nth degree. That was the way he worked. But he made it his own, and that's where he was very clever.
I don't understand the critic, because if that's what he chooses to paint and that's what he likes, he should have been allowed to do that.
Yeah, but it was jealousy.
Of course.
You see, and he was very successful, and they didn't like that. But anyway, that's all in the past. That's all faded away now.
And so now we get to see some of the exhibition that you're bringing to Adelaide. Tell us what's coming. What's the exhibition
it's a wonderful,
about?
wonderful exhibition. I was there this morning and spent several hours there, and I was really impressed and taken aback by the thoroughness of it and the degree. But it concentrates on his photography, and all of Warhol's work was based on photography. And that somewhat has been forgotten. You know, they've all been looking at the silk screens. They've been distracted by the glitz and the tinsel of the silk screens. But all his work was based, and they've got many, many photographs in the Polaroids and from different times and different series. And it focuses on what he did. But among many things, it encapsulates a period in time in New York. Okay. It was a wonderful, wonderful time in the 70s and 80s. The stock market was booming and everybody was optimistic and you know, it was a fun time, and they were all circling around Andy because he had this aura and he attracted people, and they allowed him to photograph them. You know, they didn't like paparazzi, but they didn't regard Andy as being like that. They were quite happy to pose for him in their sort of everyday activities and at nightclubs and things.
Similar to Slim Aarons?
In a way, but Slim was very sort of establishment and the old guard.
Okay, yes, LA Hollywood.
Whereas Andy was New York and
grungy and real.
Well, not all that grungy, but sort of a different crowd.
Yeah, sure.
More sort of celebrities that ran around, but they were significant people. But otherwise, they wouldn't have allowed themselves to be photographed.
Wow. So what are they? What are they of?
Well, there's Lisa and Elizabeth Taylor and Jackie Onassis. And
do these people know these photographs exist?
Well, they're all underground now. But they would have known. They would have known at the time, and they would have been very happy. Yeah. They all liked being photographed by Andy. They thought it was a great thrill. But I think it's more than that. I think it gave them affirmation of who they saw themselves as.
Yeah.
And they would have thought, well, Andy Warhol's photographs aren't going to disappear. It's for posterity.
So did he ask you to carry this legacy on, or is this a passion project of yours that you want to keep his memory alive?
Well, Andy was very kind to me, and he was very looking forward to coming to Australia, and he was very appreciative of the fact that I was interested in him and going to help together with Victor Molly-Smorgon to make it happen.
Yeah.
But I can see the importance of Warhol. And because I've had that association with him and been very close to him and the factory, I think I have a cultural obligation to support it and to maintain his legacy.
Well, I am so glad that you are. And it is 250 works, is that correct?
Yes, it's big. You need to spend quite some time with it, and preferably go back several times and really look at it, because it's so well presented and documented. Very good documentation about what they all are and the whole thing, and you can really learn a lot. But it's really enjoyable.
Opens tomorrow, and how long is the exhibition open for?
Until the 14th of May.
Fantastic. At the Art Gallery of South Australia as part of the 2023 Adelaide Festival. Exclusive to Adelaide, Andy Warhol and Photography. A social media will reveal an unseen side of the celebrated pop artist through more than 250 works. It's going to be spectacular. I cannot wait to go and see it. I think he's excellent. I really do. Yes. Such a creative mind. Great to meet you, Henry. Thanks for coming in.
Well, thank you for having me. Yes.
Hurry! Today is your last chance to buy your People's Choice Community Lottery tickets, where you have the chance to win a brand new Toyota Kluger Hybrid. Jump online and get your $2 tickets in the People's Choice Community Lottery today. T's and C's apply. SA Lottery Licence number M14289.
Here's what you missed on Dreamscapes. Deep in the jungle, you discover a tower built entirely of toffee, surrounded by a cappuccino moat. The Queen of Ants arrives on a marshmallow boat, ready to negotiate trade sanctions on your mine of sugarific gold. And is that chocolate yacht for you? What dreamscapes are you missing? If you're not sleeping, talk to Respirico Scooter World about an in-home sleep apnea assessment. Visit Respirico Scooter World for all your sleep, respiratory and mobility needs. Think of the deadliest animal in the world. It doesn't have razor-sharp claws. It doesn't spit venom. It doesn't swim under unsuspecting surfers accompanied by ominous theme music. The only sound it makes is this. With floodwaters still stagnant and unusual weather, South Australians are experiencing a mozzie and fly invasion. Fight back with EcoMist, a natural pest control dispenser that is also safe around your family. Wipe out flies and mozzies naturally with EcoMist. Order today at ecomist.com.au.
If you were on North Terrace today, you might have passed by Samri, the cheese grater. Great things are happening right here in Adelaide. Bright minds are researching diabetes, heart disease, cancer, and preterm birth, to name a few. Every day and late into the night, we are working hard. If the lights are on, so are our bright minds. At Samri, we don't grate cheese. We do great things. Follow our progress at samri.org.au.
If you're a gardener, then you know the first place you want to be is in your garden. The second is a garden grove, sipping a really good coffee while you tuck into a scrumptious breakfast. Or sipping a glass of wine and chatting over the chef's special. Because the thing about Garden Grove is, it's not just the garden centre that's amazing. So is the cafe.
Garden Grove, the garden that I want.
gardengrove.com.au. Golden Grove.
How does a life in Henley Beach sound? Just imagine sitting by your pool on a hot summer's day with friends and family and not a worry in the world. With $250,000 in your bank. This could be your reality if you win the $3.5 million Scott Salisbury Homes grand prize in the Hospital Research Foundation Home Lottery. To see full lottery details and get your tickets, visit homelottery.com.au. Licence M14311.
The Southern Volkswagen 22 plate clearance is on now. Incredible deals across the range and vehicles in stock ready for immediate delivery. Get in quick and don't miss the 22 plate clearance only at Southern Volkswagen.
LVD 152780.
Jade Robran, talking Adelaide on 1395 5AA.
Welcome back to the program. 8 minutes to 4 o'clock. We're on the live stream thanks to Foodland Supermarkets. Sue in Christie's Beach has called in about Andy Warhol. Hello, Sue.
Hi, Jade. How are you?
I'm good. Are you a fan?
Actually, it's another person I'm a fan of. It's David Bowie, who wrote a song about Andy Warhol.
Yes, he did.
I think it was on the Hunky Dory album, from memory. And the story goes that he actually met Andy Warhol and played the song for him and said, "What do you think?" And he said, "I like your shoes." And that was the last thing they said about the song, because apparently he didn't like it at all.
It's kind of obvious, isn't it? What a shutdown that is.
Oh, I wish David Bowie would write a song about me, because I was a huge Bowie fan, like big time. And, so he didn't write a song about Sue.
There's plenty of songs about Sue out there, though.
I know. A boy named Sue. Who wrote that? I can't even think who it was now. I'll text it because I can't remember and I'm not going to stand here going, I don't know. So.
Well, thank you for calling in, Sue. Thank you very, very much. And I do have 2 tickets to go along and see the Andy Warhol photography. If you'd like to go to the exhibition, call in now. 8223 0055 is the number to call. I've also got tickets to go along and see Rouge at Gluttony at Rymel Park, home of the biggest shows this Fringe. Tickets are from gluttony.net.au. So if you'd like to head along to Rouge at Gluttony for Fringe, the number to call, 8223 0055. Have you been lucky enough to see the Aurora Australis, also known as the Southern Lights? If you have, can you please call in and tell us all about them? I've seen photographs of this stunning spectacular that is lighting up the sky, and wow, it is stunning. Green and purples. Us city folk, unfortunately, can't see it unless I think you've got super duper lenses, but it has been seen around Mount Barker, Penola, Millicent, Mount Barker and Port Macdonald. My next guest has been lucky enough to take some really beautiful snaps in the sky. Millicent local Tanya Millard, welcome to the show. How are you?
Oh, good, thank you.
Tell me, when you saw it, explain it. What does it look like?
Well, it was like very amazing, really.
Yeah.
It was shards in from the ground up. It was more through the camera. That's when you're actually seeing it best. But through the naked eye, we're seeing beams go from the ground to the sky, and you could actually see slight colour. But of course, through the camera was just that next level.
So did you know that it was happening, or did you stumble across it?
Yes, no, we knew that it was going to happen. A girlfriend, Ramona Opler, actually took some photos as well at the same time. We went out together. We went out about 9:30 at night, and she's got an app on her phone that actually tells you about when these things are going to happen. So we went out on Monday night, and we just pulled up on the side of the road towards Canunda in Millicent, and we just set up our tripods, and we just started clicking away. And it first started happening around 11:15, and it just lasted for about just before midnight, so just over 45 minutes.
And is this every night?
No, it's not every night, because, like, I went out for the last couple of nights, and, of course, it's very cloudy here at the moment.
Yeah.
So, but it has been amazing. It's been twice in the last 2 weeks. So it was Monday night, and then previous it was the Tuesday night, previous to that. So.
And when you've taken these photos, at what point did you realise, wow, I've really snapped a winner here?
Oh, straight away, nearly, because there was, it was just amazing. But we were just standing there freezing cold. Of course, it was freezing, but and snapping away, and then you could just see in the back of the camera, wow, this is just, we've got it.
Oh, you certainly did get it. They are stunning. And you've posted them up on Facebook. You've got a site. Can you tell us what it is?
Well, it's on the Lime Coast Camera Club site. That's because I'm involved with the Lime Coast Camera Club here, so there's quite a few of us involved with that, and there's a couple of girls that go down to Port Mac, which Erin Beggs and Michelle McIntosh go down to Port Mac as well to take those photos. So, so it's on the Limestone Coast Camera Club site.
Oh, jump on, because they're just beautiful. Thank you, Tanya. We're going to wrap things up for today, but the sports show is coming up next with Rowey and Timmy G. Have a great afternoon, and I look forward to seeing you tomorrow. See you later.
We love our vast, rugged country, but out here is no place to break down. For 50 years, the team at Train Tamer